Now we want to be able to use the sine, the cosine and the tangent functions on our calculator. So I suggest you pause the video and go and find a calculator just now. Now if you don't have a calculator, you can always use this online version. I've left a link to it in the resources section. So let's go ahead and we'll work through first of all our tan function. Now we know now what the tan button means. In words, the tan button says the ratio of y to x in a right angle triangle. So we know if we were to press tan and then we were to put in 45, the 45 is equivalent to 45 degrees. We know that the answer to that is going to be a value of 1, because we know at 45 degrees the y distance is going to be the same as the x distance. So when you divide the y distance with the x distance, you're going to get a value of 1. So that's why when you put in 45 into the tan function in your calculator, it gives you a value of 1. Now we also looked at 60 degrees in the previous video, so we can try putting in the tan of 60 degrees, and now we said that was going to be root 3, which is equivalent to 1.732. So that's 1.732. So again, reading this from your calculator, it says the ratio of the y to the x at 60 degrees is 1.732. So you could mess about with your calculator and put in a few other values and see what happens with this tangent function. So let's say we put in the tan of 90 degrees. Now we can think about what this is going to look like. You can see the answer here is undefined. Or undefined might also, you could also say it's infinity. Because what we're saying is at 90 degrees, we're saying the ratio of the y to the x, well, the y is going to be a height of, say, 1, but the x distance is going to be 0. We won't have gone anywhere in the x distance, so we'll see that in the next video when we actually look at the functions all drawn out. We can try another couple here, just put in a random value, so we can put in tan of 17 degrees. And you can see there's the answer, there's 0.3057 blah blah blah. So that's for the tan function. We can do the same for the sine and the cosine functions. Now we've not really looked at the sine and cosine functions quite so much, but we will in the next video, and we'll see exactly what all three functions look like. So let us climb another mountain. This time we're going to work out the height of the mountain before we climb it. So here's our new mountain here, and that's the height of it there, and we want to know that height. Now what we've done is we've come back 50 meters and we've measured an angle of 18 degrees. So from this information we should be able to work out the height of our mountain. So let's say we call the height of the mountain y, and this distance here is x. So we know that if we measure the y divided by the x, so the y divided by the x at 18 degrees, we say y upon x equals tan of 18 degrees. So just saying the ratio of y upon x at 18 degrees is some value, and we can find that value from our calculator. Our calculator tells us what that ratio of y upon x is. So therefore what we can say is, if we were looking for the y height, we could say y would equal the x tan 18 degrees. So in this case here we can say y is going to equal, well, we know the x is 50, so it's going to be 50 times tan of 18 degrees. So this is what we'll have to work out in our graphical calculator. So we'll just go ahead and we'll put these values into the calculator and we'll see if we can get the right results. So let's put the values into the calculator. It's going to be 50 times the tan over 18 degrees. And that's going to equal 16.245. So the height of the mountain is approximately 16.2 meters. So let's try another example. Let's say we have our mountain here, and we come back a distance. Let's say the distance we come back is 300 meters, and let's say we're at an angle of 72 degrees, and this is our height y, and this is our height x. So the question is, how high is our mountain? That is, what is this length y? So go ahead and see if you can work out the answer now. So what we can say is the y upon x equals the tan of 72 degrees, or we can say that y equals x times tan 72 degrees. Now we already know the x, so we can say y is going to equal 300 times the tan of 72 degrees. So we've got to go and put this into our calculator and see if we can get the height of the mountain. So go ahead and do that now. So we're going to have 300 times the tan of 72 degrees. And there's a final answer there. The mountain is going to be 923 meters high. So I suggest you put a few others in yourself and make a few up yourself, and try and work out and just get used to pressing the tan button. And you can also try it for the sine and the cosine, although we'll be moving on to those in the next few videos. So thank you for listening. I'll get you in the next video. Goodbye.